President Donald Trump alleged joke he could play a matchmaker for Prime Minister of India Mr. Narendra Modi after learning from aides that the 67-year-old Indian leader has long been estranged from his wife, according to a new report in Politico. The article detailed a long list of diplomatic faux-pas that Trump has made with foreign leaders around the globe, including a lack of telephone etiquette, mispronunciations, and awkward meetings.
So we want fair trade deals. We want reciprocal trade deals. Scott Walker has a wonderful company called Harley-Davidson in Wisconsin, right? Great. So when they send a motorcycle to India, as an example, they have to pay 100% tax, 100%. Now, the Prime Minister, who I think is a fantastic man, called me the other day. He said, we are lowering it to 50%. I said, okay, but so far we're getting nothing. So we get nothing, he gets 50, and they think we're doing, like they're doing us a favor. That's not a favor. And you know what I'm talking about. It's a great company.
Trump also displayed a lack of familiarity with South Asia, according to a report. Ahead of the meeting last year with Prime Minister Modi at the White House, Trump allegedly studied a map of South Asia and mispronounced Nepal as Nepal and referred to Bhutan as Bhutan, the Politico said, according to unnamed sources. The president seemed confused that the two countries which borders India even existed, said a new report. He didn't know what those were. He thought it was all part of India, a source told to Politico. Also, he was like, what is this stuff in between and these other countries? After Trump's staffers told the president that Prime Minister Modi would not bring his wife along to the meeting at the White House, Trump allegedly joked that, I think I can set him up with somebody else. The report said according to two people briefed on the meeting. White House spokesperson Sarah Huckabee Sanders told Politico that the Trump has developed strong relationship with America's closest allies, which allow for a candid conversation.
It's a pleasure to have you here, Donald.
Well, Justin, it's been really great, and I appreciate, Justin has agreed to cut all tariffs and all trade barriers between Canada and the United States, so I'm very happy
So
about
I'd say
that.
NAFTA's in good shape.
But we are actually working on it. But our relationship is very good. We are actually working on cutting tariffs and making it all very fair for both countries.
Although India and US relationship are basically sounded, things have been tense in recent months because of the clashes on the trade and the administration decision to cancel an important meetings of US Secretariats of Defense and State with their respective Indian counterparts. It is now scheduled for September 6, 2018. Prime Minister Modi has invited Trump to be the chief guest at the India's Republic Day military parade on 2019 January 26, but there is no word yet whether the president will accept. More or less, Trump of United States as a president won't come. So what do you think of the insults and the jokes about and mocking of Indian Prime Minister Modi by the President of US Mr. Donald Trump? India's competitiveness in labor-intensive export sectors has been on a declining path the last decade and needs significant structural reforms that need to be addressed, rating agency CRISIL said in a new report. The CRISIL analyzed the competitiveness of the labor-intensive export sectors, namely gems and jewelers, leather and leather products, and ready-made garments, which showed that these becomes less competitive over the last decade. It is disquieting that India's export growth is decelerating at a rate at the time when the global environment is becoming more conducive for trade. The reason is not currency strength, but the weakening competitiveness. This needs to be reversed if India has to be sustainable, self-employment generating exports to the growth. India's exports have fallen despite a favorable global trade environment. The International Monetary Fund or the IMF expects growth to rise to 3.6% in 2017 from 3.2% in 2016. Global merchandise trade is expected to grow stronger at 4.2%, boosting the trade intensity of the growth for the first time in 6 years. Yet, India's exports have not been able to take as advantages of the stronger trade, unlike many of its ancient peers like Vietnam, South Korea, and Indonesia. While India's growth export is 9.5% in this fiscal year so far, and for Vietnam, South Korea, and Indonesia, it is very much higher at 23.8%, 18.4%, and 17.18% respectively. Chrysal's analysis revealed that the competitiveness of these labor-intensive sectors was already on declining since 2006, which was further impacted by the demonetization last November and the implementation of GST last year, which was brought up by the current Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who didn't even know what to do with India's economy, which was going really well. Between 2006 and 2016, the competitiveness of the gems and the jewelry sector has declined from 6.38 points to 3.96 points. Leather and leather products from 3.12 to 1.79 points, and ready-made garments from 2.4 to 2.22 points according to Chrysal's. The 2006 to 2016 decade saw RCA markedly diminish for three of these sectors, which demonetization and the GST impacting further. So while policy disruption have been the transitory, there are structural issues jogging India's export competitiveness, said Chrysal. India's current account deficit climbed to a fourth-year high of $14.3 billion in the first quarter of this fiscal year, or 2.4% of the gross domestic product or the GDP, mainly because the trade deficits ballooned to four-year high of $41.7 billion compared to $19 billion in the corresponding quarter of fiscal 2017, as the export growth at 9.1%. Import growth was away faster at 34.6%. The high export growth, particularly in the labor-intensive sector, is vital to sustaining employment-generating growth, said Chrysal, which India is really lacking of unemployment growing so much faster, and Indian government are still stuck in the demonetization GST economy fall down. So what do you think of India's export competitiveness at the decade low? Will it grow any higher, or will the government of Narendra Modi will soon decline India's economy, nearly go by down?
Zora Kamalova works tirelessly on her farm at the Tajikistan-Afghanistan border. She's 58 years old and has been farming for almost 30 years now. The wheat she produces helps her feed her family, and during a good harvest, she manages to make some extra money.
وقتی که با شوهر بر اومدیم، بعد با شوهر بر اومدن بو اومدیم با امر تقدیر با همین زمین قد سر کار داریم. از سال 1983 به همین زمین سر کار داریم. پارسال از سبب نبودن بارش شد، غلای ما اونقدر نشد.
What Zora and other farmers in the region are facing is the lingering impact of environmental and water mismanagement, coupled with the poor state of infrastructure in a post-Soviet era. Even with governments trying to address these issues, there's a lot more that needs to be done. Helping improve water, food and energy security by strengthening energy-water linkages across the Central Asian region is the Central Asia Energy Water Development Program, or CARDEP. CARDEP is a multi-donor trust fund started by the World Bank in partnership with DFID, SECO, USAID and the European Commission. CARDEP addresses the challenges of improving the cooperation between countries on the management of water and energy resources in the Aral Sea Basin to promote mutually beneficial opportunities. With glaciers in Central Asia melting rapidly, the water supply of millions could be affected. Agriculture is the mainstay of the region's economy, and downstream countries are largely dependent on the upstream countries of Tajikistan and Kyrgyz Republic for water for irrigation. Uzbekistan relies for 90% of its water supply on upstream countries, and the shortage of water during summer months has led to the acute salinization of soils, leading to crop destruction. Meanwhile, the upstream countries of Tajikistan and Kyrgyz Republic do not have thermal resources. During Soviet times, water and energy were shared between up and downstream countries. This system has now collapsed. During winters, upstream countries generate hydropower to meet energy demands. In doing so, they release more water in winter and cause floods in downstream countries, as well as water shortages in summer. The need for better cooperation over resources has made energy-water linkages inextricable for national security, regional stability, and economic growth in this region. Today, countries in Central Asia are getting better equipped to combat the growing threats of climate change and stresses on energy and water security through improved water management systems, efficient heating and power supply, and regional cooperation between the Central Asian countries on energy and water resources. Most importantly, millions of people are being able to improve their livelihoods.
سهمی اندازه رسیدن از اون مزدی نوچیزی هم باشد مزد گرفتن زندگی آنها بهتر شد.
Many are gaining economic independence.
موسمیانی که باشه مثال ما صاحب یک مبلغ شدیم زنو همه در قشلاق ما به حد کم بزادش بسیار.
And there is also enhancement of peace and security in this beautiful and important region of Central Asia.
Post your comments below. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and follow us on social networks and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching. This is WEC Daily. Think big, think different. Bye.
you